The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Whether you're new to sales or a lifetime veteran, the Blackbelt Sales Podcast will sharpen your sword and guide you to master the art of sales. And now, here's your host, the ninja himself, Gene Slade.
What's up, my ninjas? Good to see you today. I can't tell you how excited I am to have one of the best marketers in the country for HVAC, plumbing, and electrical here with me today. And his name is Mark Sherwin. I've also got Don Johnson in the house. You guys know him as a former client, now friend of mine, works with us, and he and I run the Profit Coach Mastermind, which is just for owners. All right. And by the way, if you're tuning in live right now, will you please just type live in the comments? And if you're watching this on a replay, please just type replay in the comments. It's the only payment that we ask for getting minds like this together and serving our community. So I'd like to give Mark the floor for a moment and just ask him to introduce himself. One of the other things that you should know is that Mark and Don actually worked together before Don sold his company, and Mark was one of the key assets, if you will, in helping Don to go into that 8-figure mark with his plumbing and HVAC business. So, Mark, you got the floor for 2 to 3 minutes. Please let us know who you are, where you're from, and how'd you get here, man?
Appreciate that, Gene. Thank you. I am a marketer by trade. I have a degree in marketing. I sold cars. I've done radio, television. I broke into the SEO industry, believe it or not, when my wife and I decided to move to Raleigh, North Carolina. Years ago, 20 plus years ago, broke into the SEO market because it was a job.
Right.
And they put me in front of a phone and they said, here's a phone book, a phone, and here's how to use Google. Go find people to sell. It was a sales run organization, top to bottom. And it was there that I learned that I wanted to do this for the rest of my life. I loved the aspect of online marketing, what it was. And I ended up building out bouncing around a little bit, a couple different companies. I tried out affiliate marketing and stuff like that. Then I ended up one day, my business partner, co-founder, LeadsNearby, Bob Maceda, needed an air conditioning unit. And we were sitting down, we were working for a Yellow Pages firm at the time. And we just got out of a nasty little conversation with them. And we were sitting down and we were talking. Sure enough, he needed an air conditioner, and this guy was using that Yellow Pages firm for their marketing and was upset to no end. And he's like, can you guys help? Sure. LeadsNearby was born that day. So my first client here locally in Raleigh, North Carolina, I was HVAC guy. I cut my teeth on that industry. I learned everything I could about the industry. Home services was always a passion, but I didn't know enough about it to understand the nuances, the difference of what was out there. Sure enough, LeadsNearby was born 13 and a half years ago with my co-founder, Bob Maceda. We were literally working in the front office of his house for the first couple of years, and then we just started.
Isn't that how most successful businesses start out?
Yeah. We are 100% self-funded. I have grown this naturally. I've hired a few salespeople over the years, but I'm still the sales guy. I built a service-based organization, not a sales-based organization, because we felt that was what was missing in the area. Don was my third client ever, and he stayed with me right up until he sold. And high fives all around. I love that story, and I'm very proud of it.
It takes more than one person to build that kind of organization, doesn't
Absolutely.
it? I mean, you got to have help all around. Don, will you please give us maybe 2 or 3 minutes of your experience with Mark? Before I ask that question, Mark, about how many clients are you working with? Like, how many clients does your business serve right now?
We serve about 250 clients, and we keep a very clear. We keep it at a very manageable level. Could I sell more? Absolutely, but selling more, I want partners in this, and we're going to get into that with a couple of these first questions that we'll get into the rest of the podcast.
For those of you that didn't see it, I posted yesterday on my personal Facebook, and you're free to go in there and answer the question that I asked, but it was for $1 to $5 million companies. And if you could talk with one of the world's leading experts in online marketing, what questions would you ask, right? So all the questions came from that we're going to go over today. And if you've got additional questions, go ahead in there. Mark or my team will go through, sift through those, and make sure that we direct you to the right people to help you with that. But Don, take the floor for just a minute. Again, if you're watching this live, please just type live in the comments. Hell, if you want to share it, that's fine. But just type live or type replay if you're watching us on a replay. So that helps us to understand when and where people are coming in and coming from. So thank you for that in advance. Don, you got the floor. Tell us about your experience with Mark.
Yeah, again, it's been a long time ago, 13 plus years. The company still uses him, even though, I used him for the whole time I was making that decision and managing it. And I can remember that I had one of those websites that the Yellow Page gave you way back when, and I was getting 54 people to the website a month when we had our conversation. It was 54. It was like, how can we grow this? 54. And through the years, doing all the little, I don't call them tricks, but all the things that we learned through the years with through Mark and his Nearby Now and all the other answering the frequently asked questions. I think we had months that we did 30,000 visitors to our website in a month. 30,000 from 54 to 30,000. That would probably be a wonderful headline to use. So,
something you said just now, Don, like it set off a light bulb, and you were talking about all the little tricks or all the little things that you had to do over the years. Everyone in this day and age wants a silver bullet, don't they?
Yep.
They want to come and ask one question, and it to be concise, 2 or 3 sentences, give them clear action steps and exactly what to do to become a multimillionaire now, right? And guys, it doesn't work that way, does it? There's a gestation period for everything, right? And it's not one thing for marketing that you're going to do that's going to make you successful. That's a rarity. I probably have one of the only stories around where I used mainly one source of marketing and had a very successful business. But most people, I spent $1.3 million on marketing on just radio shows for my HVAC business, and maybe $100,000 over the 6 years on other things. So like majority of it was that, and it was all tune-up stuff. Keep going, Don.
Well, you got to get your philosophy, and your tune-up philosophy was part of it. And I love that, because we were 50% of all of our calls were tune-ups. The other 50% were those demand calls, things of that nature. So it's a focus on what drives the business. We had to do those different things. We learned from it. We kept implementing more every year. Sometimes the relationship with Mark and I was he kept me from doing the stupid stuff that my SEO, even though I wanted to, and even though I told him this is what we're going to do, he would say, no, let's do this right. So sometimes it's what we do. And again, my relationship with Mark, it's sometimes the stuff he kept me from doing is what works so darn well. So Mark, I thank you for that.
I love that.
You did great on putting me where I should be back into sales, not into being the expert marketer. That's you.
Appreciate that.
So been a wonderful relationship. Glad it's been good for both of us.
And it continues.
And we actually used him for our rebrand. And that's back before you saw so many different people in the rebrand arena. You see them on Facebook feeds all the time now, but it worked well. And we just didn't question it. We picked up the Supergirl image. It went on the trucks. It went on the website. And that probably was another huge step in the right direction, was getting our brand, getting it connected. I tell the funny story is early on, people would ask me, is that my daughter on the side of the truck or whatever? And I said, you're getting old when people start asking you, is that your granddaughter on Oh, it kind of hit me. It just kind of hit me when I first got that question. It was funny. So, but that was incredible through branding, through SEO, through our website, everything. Mark was the go-to, asked the question, and if he couldn't handle it, which was not that often, but when it wasn't in his forte, he would let you know and he'd get you the right person, which is perfect. That's what you need, is a person who's going to send you in the right direction, even if it's not into their own company.
So guys, I'm going to give you a little tease about some of the things we're going to talk about. We're going to be talking about some things that are AI related. I know a lot of you've got questions about artificial intelligence, Chat GPT, all of these things that have just recently come out. And I think I just yesterday saw that Chat GPT has made somewhere in the neighborhood of almost 200,000 new millionaires already. Like it's definitely something that you better pay attention to. And you better understand it. And I don't know it as good as I should. So I'm excited to have conversations about that. We're going to be talking about how to compete in markets where there are a lot of transient workers maybe doing stuff under the table. We might talk about how to compete in markets where you've got big guys spending $5 million a year in advertising, and you've just got this little itty bitty marketing budget. Don and I work with several companies like that right now, and we've been able to help them without spending any money to fill their schedules. Okay. And then, so Brittany, please have question number 1 ready. I did want to share something that I thought was cool that we were talking about on the Profit Coach Mastermind with Mark. And if you've got a Google LSA account, Google Ads account, and you've got your budget set for, give me a number, Mark.
The one there was, I've got it set for $1 million. Was the quote we had in there.
So rewind, but let's say that we had it set for $1,000 a week, right?
Yeah, I just talked to a garage door company with $2,000 a week. Yep.
And so we just hired a couple technicians, and we want to just scale this up, right? And some people think, well, I'll just go in there and just increase the budget. And if it doesn't work, I'll increase it again. And if it doesn't work, I'll increase it again. And eventually my numbers will be competitive enough to compete with the big guys. But Mark shared with us that's a huge mistake. Will you tell us why, Mark?
Sure. Well, we'll get into it. This is a touchy subject for a lot of people. So I'm going to try to help this conversation along by telling you, Google is an algorithm. It's not a person sitting there saying, oh, your lead. It is an algorithm. Understanding that algorithm is extraordinarily important. Now, when you put in 2,000, 3,000, right? Google's doing a couple of things with that. One, they'd love it. It's not like pay-per-click where you would go into pay-per-click and up your budget, Google would show you more. It's not, you're managing it like a pay-per-click account, and it's not. What does Google want from it? They want interaction. They almost want you using that as the story is playing out, 2 to 3 hours a day. They want you in there doing reviews, posting photos, talking to people, booking calls. They want you in there on a consistent basis. And it doesn't matter what your budget is. It's how often do you use it? And
time is a more precious commodity for a $1 to $3 million contractor than money even is. That's exactly. So holy crap! If I'm a contractor, I'm sitting back watching right now, going, Mark, I don't have 2.5 hours a day to be in there. Holy crap! Right? So that's a super, super frustrating thing to hear.
It is a super frustrating thing to hear, but it's not insurmountable. Now, if you have a marketing company that is helping you with that, it's got to be off of one login, but you could have 3 or 4 people doing 15, 20 minutes a day for specific things. And now you suddenly have what Google wants is your usage up around 2 to 3 hours. And it's just that. It's, hey, you're in charge of responding to reviews. Log in and do that through, in the morning. Great.
Guys, get
In the
your
afternoon,
pencils and your notepads out right now. You're going to want to write this down. Don't spend this time here with us and then just let it go in one ear and out the other, okay? So one of the pieces of the puzzle he just said is responding to reviews, okay? So write that down. Next, what's next?
book your calls. Challenge the calls, right? Have somebody in charge of that. Put your CSR.
What do you mean by challenge the calls?
Some of them are going to be bogus leads.
Got it.
They're just going to be bogus leads. Somebody clicked on it. They were screwing around. It might be a competitor, whatever it is. Challenge some of the leads. But there is conflicting evidence right now with regards to what percentage booked does Google want to see. Google realizes you're not going to book 100% of the calls. They
Right.
realize that. Don't hit 100% of booked calls. That's going to seem to Google as they're not challenging me. 95%, that's a more accurate statement. Google realizes there's junk out there. So that's another one. Go in.
So a contractor could think, I need to respond that I'm responding to 100% of these. Otherwise, Google might, they might ding me, when in reality, that's not the case. Google knows that that's BS.
Because it's not reality. You don't book 100% of the calls that you get.
This is good information, y'all. I hope you're writing this down.
Again, it's just an algorithm. So the algorithm says 100% is bogus. An algorithm is going to say $1 million budget is bogus. Algorithm, right. If you've got a credit card in there with a budget with a credit limit of $10,000 and you've got $1 million budget, Google's going to kick you out. Like you're done. These are little things along the way. Now,
wait, hang on a second. When you say Google's going to kick you out, you're done. What do you mean?
Just exactly what's happening. You're getting one lead every 10 for you got $2,000 budget in there and you're getting one lead a month. Google's effectively said you're out. People have stumbled onto you and you got the one lead, but Google has stopped showing you in the algorithm up at the top in the top three because you are not following their algorithmic procedure.
We always looked at that and wanted to keep 80%. So if I saw booked rate below 80%, I was like, okay, what's going on? It's below 80. Where are we, what has fallen apart? What is, what's fallen off the tracks? And a lot of times it's when you get busy, your rate goes down. And that's when you want it up the high. You really want it to be right and up high because that's about to be the time all the leads happen, right? As soon as it gets hot, we forget to do it and we starve ourselves in the season when we probably could get wealthier. So
and back to that's exactly right, Don. But let me ask you this too, Don. When you had your CSR, you should have the dashboard for Google Local Services open in a tab on your screen. Just keep it open on the tab. Yeah. You don't need to be active every time. But Gene, I just hit the 2 to 3 hours because it's been open all day long and I'm in there. I'm going back and forth. I refresh the screen a couple times. Boom, I'm hitting. I don't have to be active per se, but I have to have it open. If I'm logging in once a week to see if my budget was killed, nope.
Yeah. Our CSR kept it open, clicked a few. Every time we truly booked one, we clicked booked. If it needed to be disputed, we were disputing it. So she would get the 2 to 3 hours in, and we might have had 100% booked rate for times when you subtract out the ones that you disputed, because you did if you didn't get them, you kind of disputed them, and we would get 3, 4, 5 of them every few emails. I'd see the disputes every night. Approved. So activity was good and it worked. It was helping. Do you see better in HVAC, plumbing, electrical? I heard you said garage door. Where does LSA work the best? Which industries does it really work for? Because I'm curious is it just a plumbing world that really gets all the leads, or the HVAC? Because it started
the first. I'll tell you. I'm going to answer that by telling you a story. One of my first clients. One of the first places they rolled the early version of LSA out was out in San Francisco. And the client that I had at the time, it was a complete debacle because he didn't get signed up for it. He refused Google, and which is another money grab by Google and all that other stuff. That's fine. But that was one of the early things. Now, it was plumbing industry they started with. They have been very good at the plumbing industry. The HVAC was a quick rollout thereafter. Okay. And they did very well. So the HVACs and plumbers, you guys are going to have the early, the most background, the most data for Google to fall back on. Electricians came in later, garage doors, and they just kept adding these services on over time, locksmiths, etc. It became a problem for Google because there's a lot of people in there cheating. Excuse me. A lot of people in there cheating the system for whatever reason, whichever way. And so now LSA is modified and changed and it's gotten different over time. Plumbers and HVAC guys, you still are one of the top dogs in there.
Did it change from like early days, like flat fee to being bid, or is that just by market? What's going on with bid versus flat fee? Because that's confusing, couldn't it?
But hang on a second, Don, before you go off and start talking in ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't even, what's the terminology?
Well, Mark,
what's it mean?
Yeah, Mark could correct us, but early days, wasn't it that it was just $25 a lead, and now you have to bid for that lead as well? Is that in all markets, or is that true, or is it still strictly $25 every time?
It depends on the industry.
Okay.
Yep. What?
They're kind of monkeying with it when we don't even know what the rules are.
My garage door guys, they're paying $25, $20, whatever it is. They offered bidding systems where you can up your budget and willing to pay more, et cetera, so forth. It kind of cannibalized their pay-per-click a little bit. Google realized, like the person that was willing to spend $150 a click on AC repair was suddenly getting AC repair leads at $25. Right. Mm-hmm. So, we don't like that, right? So now they're charging $85 a lead because that would be more. So there's ways in which Google is still learning what to do here to make the most profit for them. Just understand that ahead of time. Google is a for-profit firm. Never otherwise. It's not a free service. They are a for-profit firm, and they're figuring out ways right now to maximize profitability and click-throughs on those ads, et cetera. So I would imagine in the near future, you're going to see, even if they're flat rates, they're going to be higher. And in bigger markets where the guys are all cutthroat, they're going to start a bidding system if they aren't already.
So let's wrap the LSA thing up real quick.
Yeah,
Four important things to look at that I picked up. Number one, you got to be in there for 2.5 hours a day. Yeah. Number two, you got to be in there responding to reviews. Number three, you're going to have to contest some of the reviews that are bogus. Number four,
some of the leads that are bogus, not reviews.
Leads, okay, leads that are bogus. Thank you for correcting me on that. Because that's what my brain wanted to say, but something else came out because I was on the next one, right? And then you've got to post photos in there. And I think that you told us last time, it's not go in there and upload your entire camera roll, right? It's go in and put 1 or 2 photos in there on each one of those reviews. And the review needs to come from the client's phone, right? While they're there at the house.
Yeah. You don't,
ideally.
Ideally. You never want to get into some sort of review gate, some sort of kiosking kind of thing. Google really bites down hard on that.
And then when it comes to increasing my budget, I don't want to go in there and try to max it out because Google's going to go red flag. Maybe what do I do if I've got $1,000 a week budget? Do I go in there and increase it 20, 30%?
Yeah, you go up to $1,200, $1,250, right? You go up there, right. And if you go from 0 to 100, that's a red flag. You go from 100 to 0, that's another red flag, right? Slow and steady. Remember, Google is an algorithm and it's a learning algorithm, slow and steady.
So don't go in there and just shut it off.
What's that?
So don't go in there and just shut it off.
Just go in there and shut it off, right? Mm-hmm. Hey, instead, go in and narrow down your focus. Hey, I'm just going to I just want leads from this little area, not this big area, right? narrow. If you want to slow it down, just narrow down the focus or the keyword.
Guys, I hope you're writing this down. This is freaking gold. Okay. And it's being delivered for free. Thank you, Mark.
Hey, we had that shut it down problem after we were acquired. The internal marketing department said, "Hey, you've spent all your budget for the month," so they shut it down, and it took 4 months just to get it flowing back at a low level, not even at the level. It was tough.
Shut it
They were
off.
like, but they kept saying, "We're going to just keep raising it," and it wouldn't work, and it wouldn't work. It was brutal to shut off Google and then think you could just go flip the switch back on because my card was good again or something. But this was internal marketing after we were acquired, decided that, hey, we're going to shut this off for the next 3 weeks, make us more profitable for this month because we won't spend any of this money because it's, for 10,000 we were up to at that time in budget. But man, it might have helped that month. I kind of argue that when the lead flow drops off, it's priceless, but it was brutal for the next 3 months of trying to work without any flow through Google. So
that can be enough to put somebody out of business, especially in the categories that we're talking about, the $1 to $5 million categories. A lot of times you're just one big mistake away from having to go back and work for somebody else or start over.
Wow.
Right. So awesome advice. Brittany, will you please pull up a question for us from the audience, from Joe Wolf? And right before I ask this question, please, if you're watching this live, just type live in the comments. If you're watching it on a replay, give me a replay comment in the comments. And at the end of the show, if you guys stay till the end of the show, Mark is going to have some free stuff for you. Okay. Even some of his time will be free to you for hanging out with us here today and spending your time with us. So we sincerely appreciate you. How does a company, Mark, that is under $1 million in revenue differentiate themselves in their marketing from the larger companies?
I literally just had this conversation this morning. I'm going to answer that by sort of asking a question at the same time.
I love that.
What do you want to be known as? Okay.
Huh?
Now, the big guys, right? Michael and Sons or whoever, all well and good and wonderful. They've got years on you. They've built up a reputation. They've got radio.
A war chest.
What's that?
A war chest.
They've built this up. What problems do they have? They still have problems. I don't care if they're a big company. They still have problems. What are the problems, and how do you solve them? That, my friends, is what you're looking for. You're looking for that. What are the problems that the big guys have, and how can I solve them?
And then you put that on your website?
Everything. It goes into your radio campaigns. It'll go on your billboard. It'll go on the side of your truck. It goes on your business cards. It goes.
Give me an example. Everything. Give me an example.
Sure. So I actually have an example that's not even my client. It's just a company here locally in Raleigh, North Carolina, that I tell this story ad nauseum because I need people to understand and take something away from it that goes, oh, I get it.
Did you say ad nauseum?
Ad nauseum. Yes, I'm old. Here's the bottom line. This guy here in Raleigh, North Carolina, had a 10 truck organization, typical heating and air guy, right? Couldn't ever break over. I think it was 5 million that he was shooting for. Couldn't break it over. So he started talking to his clients. He started talking to his people and saying, hey, what is it? What's important to you? And the majority of them came back with price and timing. Price, timing, price, timing. He's like, well, I don't want to mess with the price, right? Because that's not a race to the bottom. What about this timing thing? So what I said to him specifically was, what the story as it went, again, I didn't talk to him, but the story went this way. He created a company called Six and Fix. You can go look him up. He quickly grew using a brand, a message that was, call by 6 today and we're there by 6 today. Or there today to fix your system. Call by 6, it's fixed. He blew up. He has a 50 truck plus organization the last I heard. And all he does is fix air conditioning systems. Oh, you got a lead? He hands it to his old company for replacement.
Very much like my first company. We didn't sell air conditioners. We just made yours run better.
That's it. That was phenomenal for him. So when I'm talking to clients now, right? I just got off the door, the conversation with the garage door guy, right? And we were coming back and forth. I'm like, somebody is locked out of their garage. Why should they call you? Oh, because call by 4 and I'm in the door. Huh? All of a sudden, we've got this brand cooking, right? We got a message cooking. You need to stand out in a crowd. Fix what. If you are a heating and air guy and yours another heating and air guy and you're $50,000 a month and he's $5 million a month, why? Well, there's no difference. I'm just going to go with the bigger guy. He's got more, but you're going to talk to me about they got more reviews. They've been around for longer. BS. That's all excuses. What differentiates you? And stand on it. Love it. Like own it. It's part of your organization at this point. It's what you're going to
identity.
It's the identity. What's the most likable person in the HVAC industry? Most of you might know Hobaika, right? One of my clients. He's the most likable guy in Phoenix, Arizona. And that was what he stands on. Because when his guys show up, they're friendly, they're happy, and that's different than the other guy showing up going, hey, I'm here to fix your air conditioner.
You're going to like a Habaika.
You're going to like it. Hey, back when we had to take, you learn this stuff and you had to take marketing and try to catch up. They call that unique selling proposition. And
USP.
And USP. Some of the, some of the organizations will just give you one. But if they give you one, fix now or it's free, and it ain't really true, it doesn't really become an identity. Even though you kind of grab at some of those unique selling propositions that others have used. When it's not really you, it doesn't work.
Exactly.
But it worked for my buddy in another state. It's got to become your identity. So unique selling proposition, USP, it's part of this, but there's it's bigger than that. It's not just getting a phrase and slapping it under your company name.
It's about it becoming culture.
It's a culture. It's your brand. It's your unique selling proposition. It's all the above. It truly is. And when you figure that out, it's great.
For the ADHD people in the room, we're going to move forward to the next question. Okay.
I could go on, that.
I know you guys could, and all this ADHD people could fall asleep.
Oh, sorry.
So let's go, baby. What's the next question? Branding awareness, marketing, like billboards, sponsorships, etc. This was a question about recruiting people into our company. So our internal customers, as opposed to focusing on external customers. Travis is wondering, is it worth it to do things like billboards and sponsorships? And from a business perspective, Don, maybe you could answer this one. When is it safe to push, some of that money towards that in the budget, like for recruiting and stuff?
Yeah, I looked at it like I had my top 10 zip codes where I want to do business. And Mark helped me figure out, where's the best area towns. We all kind of know what's our best area towns, but we also need to do the research that says, where can I grow? Because there was a little bitty small town that we had like a 15% market share in. And I probably would have never put them on the list. But when you have a 15% market share in that city, even though it's a small city, you got to, it's got to be on your list. So for me, brand, billboards, things of that nature. Start with your trucks. Obviously, that's a billboard that drives around no matter what zip code you're in. But the rest of the branding stuff goes only to your top 10 zip codes. And it might be top 5 if you haven't thought about this today. It may be 15 if you're in a huge market. But you identify your top areas you want to do business. And that's the only place you spend that kind of money. Now, again, if you're doing some recruiting, maybe that's you got to get a top 10 where do most of my employees live as well. But I only spent branding on the zip codes I thought could generate at least $1 million worth of business for me.
Did you ever use billboards and sponsorships and things like that for recruiting?
I did not specifically. You see everybody just slapping now hiring on there. I don't like that
No.
part. But no, we branded for the company, and people were like, they're busy. It would tend to work for it if you just had the right brand. Technicians want to go to work for places that appear that will keep them busy. That's their biggest fear is, what's my pay, but also are they going to work me?
Guaranteed 40 hours a week, but don't give me 60. Right.
They want to make sure they're going to be worked year round. That's their biggest fear is a company that doesn't keep their guys. They promise them the world and then give them 18 hours during the wintertime. That was not
year-round work.
Year-round work. So,
guys, forgive me if I cut in and out, even though I've got the strongest internet that God and Comcast can provide me. I still seem to drop out. So thank you, Don, for picking up the slack when that happens. So, Mark, what's your experience around using marketing to bring in talent? You can say none.
And I'll be honest with you, Gene. What brings in talent is culture. What people will jump if people are jumping from one job to the next for $1 an hour, more, a raise, whatever. They're not loyal to your company. They're just following the money.
They don't value it.
They don't value you.
They're not bought into any vision or anything like that.
Right.
When you create a company culture, whether through your brand, through your unique selling proposition, through your website, whatever it is, when people identify with who you are, they do extraordinarily well. My best clients are ones that identify with me on a moral compass level, right? It's the same thought process when you're hiring and when you're using your marketing as that. You got to, and people will talk about this a lot. You've got bigger companies, right? Driving around and their wraps are falling off their truck and stuff like that, and it's all dirty. But then you see the brand new truck go down the road, and you're like, oh, I wonder if that company's hiring, right? I'd like to be driving that versus this beat up thing. There's so many things that go into it that involve marketing, but quite honestly, my best companies, they have people knocking on their door to come work for them because of the company culture that they've built. Not that they're paying $1 more an hour.
I tell you, if I went to go work for a company and I was a good salesperson, they handed me a vehicle that was 15 years old, I'd turn around and walk right out.
Mm-hmm.
Just would, right? That's a company that does not have a plan to cycle out vehicles. They're a company that, in my opinion, just doesn't have a plan.
Exactly. Gee, thanks. Appreciate the. I'm going to get into a little bit this question, and I want you guys all to understand one of the biggest things, skipping the billboard part, the sponsorships. Please, please, please understand the power of sponsorships for your company.
Your community.
What's that?
Your community.
Your community. I want to work more in this town next to mine. Well, I'm going to have to go get a new Google business profile and fake an address and No,
don't do that.
Start getting involved in that freaking community. And I can't stress this enough. Go and sponsor the Little League, the high school, etc. Be part of that community. Have your trucks there at a high school football game. Be part of the band, right? Be part of the community and be seen, but goes beyond that. And here's what it does. Go and look at the organization's website. How can you be involved in the organization's website?
Are you guys getting anything out of this? Are you getting anything? If you're getting something out of this, put boom or something like that down in the comments for me. Keep going, Mark.
This thing, Gene, what I'm talking about is what Michael said. The big companies, this is their bread and butter when they started. This is what they did. They sponsored and became part of their communities. Now, I want you to take that to the next level. Be part of the website. Hey, can I get a link? Could I get some sort of can I contribute to the website? Yes, you can. Absolutely. These organizations love that. They absolutely do. Now, in the same token, now you get the backlink that helps with your SEO in that specific area. Now, additional to this, Be part of the sponsorship. Oh, they give me a billboard on the 50-yard line. Big whoop. I want to show up to the games. I want to hand out $50 off coupons for my services. I want to hand off discounted tune-ups. I want to be part of, hey, thank you so much.
I want to shoot T-shirts into the audience.
Yes.
That would be fun.
Freaking Why? They might not need you today. They might not. When their air conditioner breaks and they're looking on a search result and they go, that's the guy that shot T-shirts into the field. Yeah, now you got the call. Now you're getting the opportunity that somebody else might not have. You've created a brand awareness in an area where you're not specifically located. These are absolutely people want to come work for you.
Can you kick a field goal from the 30-yard line and make it and win this prize?
Yes.
Sponsored by.
The sponsorships are if you're just doing it because you get a banner on the 50-yard line, no. Challenge that school.
That's static. It's static, right?
Don't want that.
There's no action going on there.
Exactly. Be part of it.
Have some movement in life, y'all.
I had and I'm still trying to convince somebody to do this. Maybe somebody here will do it. I want you to take one of your old trucks. I want you to gut it. You guys are all heating and air. A lot of you guys are heating and air guys. Some of you are plumbers. Some of you are electricians. Put a freaking refrigerator in the back. Go to Costco. Go to Sam's Club. Fill it up with popsicles. Wrap the truck, but make it look like an ice cream truck. Go to these when you sponsor the Little League. Great. Go and park your truck and say, I'm $100, a thing. Here's a coupon for $25 off. A popsicle. All proceeds go to benefit a certain organization.
That park.
Yes.
To that park. That's awesome.
What did you just create? You created a social element to, hey, take pictures. You got a mascot, have him there, right? There's so many things that you can do with sponsorships and being part of the solution, being part of the community. And it is imperative. Those 10 zip codes Don mentioned, identify areas in those that you want to be more want to be more a part of. Mm-hmm. I have a program here at LeadsNearby called Primo, Prioritize Marketing Opportunities Map. I literally point out to my clients those zip codes based on past data and current demographics. Who are your target markets? Where's your marketing dollar going to go further? And I literally create a plan around that Primo map. And now I'm able to throw darts at a map and go, hey, this is what we want to do. This is where you want to sponsor, right? And it creates a plan. And that's what you need, a plan.
Amen. Next question. I think 4 times I've faded out on you guys. What is the biggest mistake or waste of time and money that you see a $1 million in revenue client make in marketing, and why?
You're going to hate this answer.
No, I don't care. It ain't my question. Chris Kimball might hate it.
Chris is going to hate this answer. The biggest mistake I see y'all make is not being involved in your marketing.
I hate that.
You sign up with an SEO firm, a marketing firm, whatever. Okay, good. That's off my plate. They're going to take care of it, make my phone ring, and you go over and you start doing something else over here. No. Don and I had conversations that lasted 2 hours, and we just sat down and we come up with ideas and we go back and forth. And that's why you hire me, because I know how to implement the ideas. That's why those are the mistakes that you guys make. And
well, hang on a second. I want to defend the contractors out there, because I think that a lot of the companies that are out there trying to serve us would never sit down with Don for 2 hours or 3 hours at a time, right? So we're going to have to find a company that's willing to have that kind of relationship with you, as opposed to you just being a number and then them just burning through your dollars on Facebook or Google or wherever it's at.
Yep. Yes.
So it's a two-way street, y'all.
It is. My best clients are ones that are part of the solution, that don't look at me and go, all right, everything's on you. Good luck.
How much time should a contractor be how much should we budget? How much of our bandwidth should we budget, let's say on a weekly or a monthly basis, to have these conversations with our marketing company?
If you gave me an hour every 2 weeks, your marketing's taken off. Give me an hour a week, and yeah, let's roll. 30 minutes a week, right? Just have the communication.
Right.
Hey, and the other side of this is, I have clients, and you learn things over time, right? And I've had my struggles. I've had
Time's
my
a great
problems
teacher.
as a company. They teach you, right, what not to do anymore. When you let a conversation with your marketing company get stagnant, you stop showing up because you're not getting anything more from it. You're just going over the same things. It's monotone. There's nothing. Challenge the marketing company. My company, challenge me. Hey, Mark, this is getting old. What can we do to spice things up? How can we get this conversation flowing? Yeah, I need that kick in the rear sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Your marketing company needs it too.
When the corporate took over that, again, I get kicked back to that. I'd get an email once a week, and that would be all the communication you got with your marketing person was this email, and it'd have all these stats. It was, traffic was up, traffic was down, this was up 30%, 22%. And then I'd always come back and say, but is that good? And they wouldn't.
Yeah.
They couldn't answer. They're like, no, it's just data. They don't know good or bad. It
wasn't meaningful to you.
It was very, it was very, I don't know. It was just very painful to the point where I said, just quit sending me the reports if we're not going to actually do anything with these things. I don't need to read all these stats. I need to know if it's how we're going to adjust it or how's it going to make it better. But there's two words that come up, and we all know the word delegate. You should delegate your marketing. Really, I think you should get people involved who know more than you. But we often, as contractors, do this other word that we may not have ever heard. It's called abdicate. Abdicate is
abdicate. That's 3 syllables. It's got to be at least 9th grade reading level. So what does it mean?
I know that I could spell it. I didn't know what it meant when I first. But abdicate is what we most of us confuse with delegate. We give it to this person, and we hope to never ever talk about it again. We kind of just throw it up and say, I don't want to ever have anything to do with it again. If you're the owner, you can delegate, but you can never abdicate. You are responsible for making sure it works. You just
so you have to inspect what you expect, right?
What it comes back to, but we get guilty of abdicating. I'll just give this review thing to my CSR, and it's off my mind. It's off my plate. It's off my mind.
I wish life was like that, man.
Yeah, it typically falls apart. Given enough time for anything that you abdicate will come back to bite you. You can delegate, but delegate means you check on it, you inspect it. If it doesn't happen, it's your fault, right? That's delegation. If it doesn't happen, it's your fault, not the person you gave it to.
And Don, you said it earlier. You said, Mark, you told me no on a number of things. Yeah, I did. But we were having the conversation. You were giving me things. You were part of the solution. Be part of the solution, guys, girls. Please be part of that the solution, and challenge your marketing company. If it is at that moment in time, you'll know if you have the right marketing company for you.
It's one of the first things that I did. I just hired a new marketing company about a month ago, Mark, and they laid out the plan. And the first thing I did was go in there and challenge it and go, hey, this doesn't make sense to me. Why we're doing this way. My logical brain says that this is the order and things that we should be doing. Please tell me why I'm wrong. Right? I needed to know that, because otherwise I wasn't going to feel good enough to spend that money every single month. Gee, Slade, send me this man's number. We're looking for a new SEO and marketing company. Not a problem, Fred. Not a problem.
I can help.
Let's jump to the next question. Baby in the background. Brittany's flipping slides. Thank you, darling. So this is from Dan Addy. What does AI look like? Oh my gosh, could we be more general, right? I've got there's only so much room here for us to put a question, guys. This was a long question. I might have to go. Hang on a second. I think I have it right here. Let me see if I can ask.
Dan, you asked some good questions on that post, by the way.
Pardon me?
Dan asked some good questions on that post.
Yeah, so
he had
it
like
was
series of like 5.
all right. So here we go.
And it's getting confusing. What is AI and what is marketing automation or automation? Because people are kind of like confusing too. Yeah, or thinking it's one thing and it's another. We're marketing automation. We were automating a lot of stuff.
Yep.
And I think that's where you got to start. You can't think that AI is going to solve it for you, but automation can. How can you get every time a customer hasn't opened an email and something in print to them? How can you get every time they haven't used your service in 6 months, an email out to them? That's automation. And good automation is the things we would do if we just took the time and think about it, but we just want the system to do it for us. It's not doing anything new. AI is supposed to do new stuff for us. I get that. I'm not sure what those are yet, but marketing automation will prompt you to do the things we should do. We got a service agreement customer and they miss their visit. So we find that list and we call them. Well, can I get the system to do it for me? Yes. That's what we concentrate on first. But
all right, I got the full question here. It took me a minute to get my phone back on off of airplane mode. So Dan Addy says, all jokes aside, when you've got powerhouse companies with private equity money hiring the best digital and social media marketers out there, if you're trying to gain market share, how important is it going to be to know and understand AI? And how important is it going to be to incorporate into how we communicate with customers via chat or email?
Mm-hmm. So let's break it down to what Don said and to what Dan is asking. Don, let me be clear. I am not the best person to ask all the technical questions with AI and such. What I'm going to give you is the holistic approach here, the holistic answer. And if you want a deeper answer, I will put you in touch with people internally here in my company that can answer that question a little bit more succinctly than I'm going to right now. But here's the thing. Anytime that you get the opportunity to automate a process, yes, I am all about it. It's the old Staples commercial, hit the easy button. I want to make it easy for people to do business with you and for your people to do business with your clients. Absolutely. I integrate dispatch softwares, direct to booking. I'll do any of those things. We deal with APIs. We do a lot of work with helping people make it easy. Some of the dispatch softwares don't do it, right? They don't offer a way to connect. That's fine. But for the ones that do, I effort in everything I do to make an easy button. And then I get into marketing.
So you're creating automations for the clients?
Yes, absolutely. If it's capable. And we have to put that big, giant, capitalized, bolded if in there because it's not always capable.
No, but if you're dealing with some of the bigger names, you should have some capabilities there, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Service Titan. There's a number. House Call Pro does it. We're in talks with a couple others right now that have a robust API that I can talk and communicate with. Right. Yes. Zapier is the thing. Yes, you can.
Did anybody else just get lost with API?
And I apologize. I can do that easily. But there are here's the thing to understand about marketing. Yes, I want to automate it. Yes, it still needs to be personal. That person that you went and saw that has a 10-year-old HVAC system sitting on the side of their house, right? Having a trickle campaign of email and maybe a postcard that goes out to them about the more efficient systems that you have available. The next time you go to that house, that sale just became 10 times easier. It's just as simple as you can make it. And that's an automation that you set up to just communicate. But that required you telling me or your marketing company how old that system was. Data in, what is it? Garbage in, garbage out. If you're not using your dispatch software to its full extent, putting in data, showing, hey, this is an older system, taking notes, then don't expect your automations to work flawlessly. They won't.
Man, at one of my companies, the rule was that within 15 minutes of you showing up at that job, the office had to have the model, serial number of that equipment and the age of that equipment. Within 15 minutes of you showing up. Why in the heck would we do that? Don?
Well, you break down your whole sales process based on the age of equipment for HVAC.
Yes.
When it's over a certain age, you have to start setting the seed for replacement. Even if it's not today's trip, you will want to start down that process too. And I'm seeing a lot of companies or a lot of the posts out on Facebook that talk about the AI wanting to fool your customers into chatting with an AI versus
Right.
talking to a person. I believe there's a place for it, but I think clients will want to talk to people. If it's midnight,
I think it's going to come back.
Yeah, I think it's going to come back. That want to talk to people. Answer your phone. We were on Phones Pro with Service Titan, and I didn't love it as much as I just loved the phone to ring and you pick it up and you talk to somebody. But it was not part of that was part of the corporate that wanted all of that management and control. But clients just want to speak to somebody.
That's all they want to do. There's a problem. They're hot, they're cold, they're not supposed to be. There's water where it's not supposed to be. The switch doesn't work. Power's out. Whatever it is, they've got a problem. Talking to a machine, conversing with an AI bot on your website no. I've tried it. People hated it. Can I just talk to a real person? Hashtag real person, right? Operator. How many do you enjoy doing that? Like, do you enjoy calling up a company and dial 1, dial 2?
I tried that with my radio shows, guys. I would get 20, 30 calls an hour originally when I had somebody calling in on the telephone number. And the minute that I switched to, hey, we've made it easier. Now all you've got to do is text this to this and respond. And we went just like we did it twice. And I was like, I'm never doing that again. And it cost me thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in time and energy and effort. They just wanted to talk to a human.
Yep, that's exactly right.
And how would you feel if you've been texting with someone or on your phone for 10 minutes to find out it's not a real person?
Oh my God.
I don't even like an automated call. And then it fools me. I have a negative feeling towards that.
I literally, a couple of nights ago, Don, you guys are going to love this. So I put my cell phone number on my Facebook page.
I saw
and just on a whim, I don't care if people have my phone number. I don't know why you guys are hiding your cell phone numbers. There's a block button on here. Okay. Like, it's stupid. I want to be accessible to the people that need my help. Right. And if it gets to a point where I can't answer this sumbitch, that's great. Okay. But until then, I want to be accessible to my people. I want them to know that I'm here for them. Why the hell was I going down this path? Oh, I know what it was. So this guy texted me. I think it was Joe Wolf, one of the guys that asked the questions earlier. And he's like, is this a bot? And I'm literally replying back to him via text. I even sent him a voice text, right, to prove that I wasn't a bot. And I told him, listen, I'm going to bed. I'll message with you in the morning. And at 12:26 p.m., he goes, definitely a bot. Right? Well, the next morning, I called him and I'm like, hey, man, just want to let you know that was me last night. It was not a bot. He was like, I was sure it was a bot. I was like, this guy's either got a great sense of humor or he's a dick texting me at 12:26 at night, right? And we had a great laugh about it. But look, I was the person responding, and people are thinking the skepticism is out there. I'm dealing with a bot.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That just shows you people don't want to deal with bots.
They don't. Stop. I know it's easier, right? Oh, just have that bot communicate. No, it's not. It actually dissuades people from doing business with you because you might say you're the most likable person in the HVAC industry, and then a bot answers. No, stop it. I just had a call the other day. I pick up the phone. I was calling the vet, and we value your call. And I'm like, no, you don't. If you did, you'd pick up. That was my initial response.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, you don't.
Bullshit.
If you did, you'd pick up.
Love it. So, do you think we've handled this AI subject or not? Is there more to say about? Did you only
There's
cover the
always
half
more
because
to
we were
say
talking
on
about automation? What was
Mhm.
the second piece that you wanted to say, Mark?
the marketing automation is automating processes is especially in marketing is certainly viable, but don't try to over automate something, right? So that you can have one less CSR in the room. People like to talk to people still. There's still a problem. They want to know that it's going to get handled. They want to know, they want to feel that person that answers the phone. Oh, dear. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to get right out there and help you. Okay, thank you. You don't get that from a bot.
No, there's no computer, even with the great voices they've got on some of these new alien-looking robots, right? There's no robot that's going to be able to make me feel good about buying from me, right?
There's apparently robots that'll make you feel good, but no, not that one.
We're not talking about that right now. All right.
We're
My
not
wife
talking
is in
about
the
that ever.
background flipping smiles, right? Ever. Never.
Ever. Get that right.
Not
now.
on this podcast, at least.
Exactly.
Brittany, what's the next question? Okay, a user question here on Facebook coming from one of the groups. That's why we can't see who it is. We do apologize for that. How important is knowing KPIs, and what do ideal KPIs look like for marketing campaigns? I wish I had been able to say, can you say more about that? But let me read the question one more time. How important is it to know your KPIs? I think that's duh. Come on, guys. It's extremely important to know KPIs. Question is, which KPIs, right? And how do we make them meaningful? Because just giving me a number, I've got 16% marketing costs. I don't know if that's good, that's bad, for what size company I've got, for what kind of market I'm in, right?
Yeah.
And what do ideal KPIs look like for marketing campaigns? Can you guys give us a few KPIs? Like, first one I would ask is, what should I be spending on marketing as a percentage of my revenue if I am a $1 to $5 million company and I am not concerned with growing, or I am concerned with growing?
Don, which one do you want to handle?
Well, I did have a thought here. KPI, key performance indicators, right? So we throw KPI around and we forget that first word, key. You can only track so many and keep up with them mentally. So you got to get it down to the most important ones. If we get rid of the word key, it'd be the most important performance indicators. But that email I got from my, the corporate that was half a page long was loaded with their KPIs. None of them mattered to me. What are my KPIs? Is the schedule full? That's the first one. Yes, I'll give you that. What should I spend as a percentage? That's very much go, 9 to 11% for growth companies in $1 million range is not uncommon. I like that. I'm happy if somebody tells me they're spending 10%. You got some upside for them. But at $10 million, you got to be more like a 5% spender, right? So, but what is my key performance indicator was how many times did the phone ring? How many calls did we run a day? And was the schedule really full? Or are we just running 1 to 2 calls a day per tech? That was my key performance indicator. Is the schedule full?
Yeah, from a KPI perspective with our company, Don, my first company, on the schedule thing, one of our KPIs was, do we have 3.75 calls per technician booked for tomorrow? Because we knew that 0.75 was going to fall off every day and have to be rescheduled. And I needed my guys in at least 3 houses a day. So that's one KPI to take with you guys.
Yeah. Right. So being and trying to read between the lines on this question, how important is knowing your KPIs and what do ideal KPIs look like for marketing campaigns? High level, to Don's point, the younger your company, along with, take that into a factor, okay, the younger companies, you need to spend a little bit more.
Yep.
Okay. And where you are, what your growth goal is. If you're going to go from 1.5 and your goal is 3 million, you know what? Add a percentage point onto whatever
it's going to cost some money.
It's going to cost some money. You need to make a splash. It's not say it and it happens. It's say it and what do I got to do now, right? Your marketing company should be capable of that.
And it's the percentage of what you want your revenue to be next year.
Yes.
Not what it was last year. We get guilty.
Exactly.
10 million, I'm going to do 10%. That's 100. No, you just told me you wanted to go to 2 million. It takes looking at the budget for what that would be next year. What is
your goal, and apply a budget to it.
Right.
Can we talk about budgets from a marketing perspective? Because there's something that's always really just fried me, just really upset me. If I'm and maybe Don, you'll have to be the one to bounce this off with me, but as a contractor myself, if I had a budget for $25,000 a month for marketing and something came along that I was super confident in that could increase my number of leads and that I could actually run those calls, there was no budget.
Yeah, you get that thought process, and again, there's two sides of this. That next silver bullet jumps at you, and we always think they're polished up, and we want to jump too fast, and we have to evaluate it. Mark did a great job to hold me back on some of those. The next is you're evaluating everything you're doing to roll off the one at the bottom that really didn't materialize. So
right.
My return on this one was different than return on the lowest one. What can I roll off the bottom for the opportunity? And maybe did I leave?
And when you say roll off the bottom, you mean get rid of, correct?
Get rid of, cut the dollars out of that one. If I can eliminate it, I might be cutting the budget out of that one to do this next thing. But ideally, you should leave. Again, it depends on the number you're talking about here, but 1% for some month-to-month discretion in case the weather doesn't go to plan. And I've been asking a lot of people this year, what if weather doesn't fix our problem this year? What are we going to do?
You cannot be operating a weather-dependent business, y'all.
And I hear it a lot.
Can we stop right there for a second? And if we ended the call right now, I want people to understand this. SEO, when your phones die, when it dries up, it's 60 degrees, everybody's got their windows open, you're an HVAC guy, and you wonder where your calls just went. It's not your SEO, okay? SEO didn't nosedive suddenly. The demand for your service did, okay? Your marketing company cannot manufacture demand. They cannot get more SEO isn't going to fix this problem.
I'm the only person that I've ever known that's been able to manufacture demand, and it was on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the key point that you just said. You manufacture demand. What you did was you manufactured desire for your service. That was what a true marketing company and what you should be challenging your marketing company on is saying, hey, my pay-per-click stopped working, right? It's suddenly you didn't get outbid. It's just nobody's searching for it.
Right.
How do I take that monies, reallocate to a push marketing, right? Your radio campaign, all right? Social media. Hey, how can I do more with referral marketing? Should I send a postcard out? Like, these are questions that you should be asking your marketing company instead of saying, oh, I want more SEO or bid more on pay-per-click.
Yeah, I mean, how many years in a row do you want to go through this challenge? Why not figure that out? And then next year we can do the same thing when things change because the weather's going to change.
Right. And challenge your marketing company. Flip switches, turn dials. You got it, right? They've got to be ready for it. Absolutely. It's a desire versus demand industry. It's for plumbers and electricians. You guys go through this too. It might not be as this, right, as a HVAC guy, but you go through it. That's it, understanding those ebbs and flows, understanding when they are, plan for them accordingly ahead of time so that you're ready for them with a marketing campaign to push and desire. I'm sending out text message campaigns. Hey, we're noticing the schedule's a little light. Send out a text message marketing campaign, fills up the schedule next week. Yeah. They're not with the best calls ever, but your schedule is full, and now you're in the home, and you have that opportunity. That's all that really matters.
And we would have our dispatchers say, but we have to leave open space so when people call that we can run those calls. And the argument was we fill the schedule, and then when something better comes in, we figure out how we're going to work it in, not leaving holes because the weather may not. We're about to turn May 1st without at 70 degrees in Alabama, right? 71, 72 next week when May 1st. That is not what we would predict. We're typically sweating in March, and now it's going to be May, and we're still comfortable.
Yep.
So fill the schedule, and then when the demand comes in, you'll figure out a way to prioritize your calls. And sometimes you might have to call a few of those back and offer them reschedule them right out, maybe lose some, offer them a small discount, or just not to worry about, losing someone, but you've created a priority. I mean, if we bump someone, we gave them a higher priority next time. We kind of scaled them up. So if you prioritize your calls 1 to 5, and you bump a 5 off, well, when we book them back up, we're going to call them a 4 because they have been bumped before, So, and we've had times in which a low priority call for whatever reason got bumped 5 times, and now we consider a priority call. We're just not going to bump them 6 times. Okay, let's just get this one done. It's now priority to us, not necessarily priority for the client. But through a system, you could do that. Fill the schedule 3.75, knowing that 0.75 are going to disappear. Yes, that was our mentality as well. 4 in hopes that we kept 3 every day. And then if the phone rang with demand, then hey, we're going to work those in. This phrase, when the customer, and you got to make the customers feel priority, and not, well, our next availability is 6 o'clock tonight or tomorrow morning. No, get this phrase working. You're next. If you tell a demand call that looks like an opportunity, first time customers were always by definition opportunity because they haven't seen our service.
Right.
You're next. I didn't promise them a time slot. That your next could become 5 o'clock today because the guy sells his whole list, as we say, and he's there all day working. But your next keeps people from calling the next company. I really believe that. If you give me 3 to 5, and I just called you a few minutes ago, I'm probably going to call a few others, knowing I'll take that risk. But your next kind of cuts that off. Your next. Just what is next?
Wow, didn't expect that. Thank you. Like that's a huge thing. That's a really good one, Don.
Massive, guys. It doesn't
You're
stop
next.
at the phone ringing, right? We've got to actually answer the phone when it rings, and we've got to convert, right? And just one little other pro tip on the side of that: if somebody does call you and you're not able to answer the phone, if you can get back to them within 5 minutes, conversion typically goes up about 500%. All right. You can also, if you can text them while you're on the telephone with them, that also increases conversion significantly. All right. So if you've got something that you can text them while they're on the phone with you and confirm that they got it, you're on the right track.
Gene, we went and created our own text message platform. We created our own scheduling interface, scheduling enhancement, if you will. We understand that value is extraordinarily important to your clients, the customers, right? Anything, smoke signals, if I could figure that one out, I'd make it work. I don't here's the lead, right? The reason that the other mistake people make, and there's a couple of them, but one of the mistakes people make is I just got off a call yesterday. He goes, Mark, I need more leads. I have 120 leads every week, and I sell 6 of them. So I need more leads. This is no, you don't. You do not need more
You got
leads.
a sales problem, bro.
You got a sales problem, my friend. I do not. I'm like, okay. He was happy with his sub 10% close rate. I'm like, I can't help you.
Wow.
He wanted to double, and I'm like, I can't help you.
I just want all of us to take a moment of silence for those leads that just died.
They all
the pile of leads dying there.
I had a client that had 1,000 text messages sent to him over an 8-month period. 1,000 text messages. He responded to a grand total of 6 of them. His excuse, I just want him to call me. No,
That's not how that works.
that's not how it works. Exactly.
And on top of
correct.
that, you're going to probably, if you don't get the telephone call, it could take you 7 to 12 contacts to convert 80% of those people. 7 to 12 contacts per person to get back in communication with them and get something closed. 80% of deals are closed between the 7th and 12th follow-up.
He quit because
Oh, yeah.
he wasn't getting enough leads.
He quit before he got the 1,000 leads.
Yes, pretty much.
He never started.
He never started, and it was unfortunate. We didn't catch it. I'll take the blame for that. Like, honest and truly, I will accept some of that responsibility and blame because it ultimately falls to me and my team in noticing that kind of stuff. But come on, man. Really? I got to police that? Yeah. So, again, this is a two-way street. But, yeah, be part of the solution.
Brittany, do we have any more questions in the hopper? I know there were a bunch. When evaluating an SEO or marketing company, which questions should we ask?
Okay. I have got sort of a list for you guys and gals.
Nice.
I want you to understand this is in no particular order.
Hey, if you want this list, put list down in the comments. All right. If you want this list, he's going to give you about the questions to ask to hire a marketing or SEO company. Comment list, and we'll get you the list.
Okay. Do you own what the marketing company will do for you?
Hallelujah.
You do not want a marketing company who owns your URL, who owns the domain, that on a proprietary system, something that locks you in. That is. I understand why they're doing it. It makes things cost effective for them. It makes a nightmare for you to get away if you ever decided to. Do not let them. You invite them to your Facebook page, your Twitter account, your Instagram, your analytics. You invite them. You don't let them own it. That is a huge one. I think we all can probably imagine why. Just imagine a relationship going sour, a marketing company being upset, and the next day everything is gone. Let's say that marketing company goes out of business.
Yeah. You're locked out. You don't have
gone.
the keys to the building. All your stuff's in the building. You're done. All the money's gone. You start from square one.
I have horror stories.
So own your stuff, guys. That's pro tip number 1. Write these down. Own your websites. Own your accounts.
Yes. You invite your marketing company to it. So one of the questions you actually got, comments you had in Facebook was very telling. Okay. Mark, it wasn't to me, obviously, but the slick sales guy or the couple guys up at the top, they hire all these young guys that don't know their stuff.
Yeah, why are you outsourcing all this stuff?
Right, or you're outsourcing and stuff like that. You want to meet who you will be working with on the daily. Ask. They'll introduce you.
Ooh.
I've already I know who I can. Who would align on a conversational level with you of my people. I will be more than happy to introduce you ahead of time. Get a relationship going. Hey, Mark, I see no drop off from Mark to this person, right? The other side to that is to
some of these people don't have a team. Some of these people don't have a team, right? And so you want to make sure that you're not just dealing with just one single solitary human being and that they don't have anything behind them. They get one other good deal and, they're wasting your money. I can't tell you how many times I've spent $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 with people like this.
Be mindful of the outsource. Outsourcing is certainly okay for some things. But when it comes to strategic things, when it comes to marketing advice, when it comes to timeliness, you need a pay-per-click ad thrown up. You do not want to be working for somebody that has to go and talk to an outsource to get it done. That you want to have to be able to have a direct conversation with that subject matter expert. And that is something that's hugely important. Again, the other thing, and this is one big thing for my company, LeadsNearby, every single client, much like Eugene, has my cell phone number. Call me, text me, 2 a.m., I'm there for you. Got a problem? I'm there for you, right? don't I don't hide behind the executive C block thing. I am there for you. Now, is that the same for every marketing company? Sure. I'm sure a lot of them are available, but make sure that you have access to somebody that can make decisions and get things done for you. When talking, asking to
Don?
talk, go ahead, Don.
Well, and when they're prospecting you, it seems like that's what you get. And then that story between what's the difference between a prospect and a client, kind of goes in that. But make sure that you truly do get that relationship with somebody. I thought I was getting that relationship at in this latest thing. And then every few weeks it was that person is no longer with the company. You're now assigned to this person. That person is no longer with the company. And that relationship just went really bad.
The word track there is amazing too. You've been assigned to.
Yeah,
You're a freaking number, bro.
I take people and I try to line them up on a personality level. Like I try to go the extra mile for my clients. Asking to talk with a current client is like, can I talk to one of your current clients? Sure. Like they're going to say something bad. Sure. Yeah. You go ahead. Here's Don's number. Give him a call. Ask about the company's philosophy and culture. Does it align with your own? That is a much more important question, because if your company is, a certain style company and you're talking to me and I'm not your style, we're not going to connect right. It's just kind of the way it is. And that's okay. There is a marketing company out there for you.
Well, and you got to have like 2 conversations with your marketing company. And that to me, what are we going to do for today? What are we going to do for this week, this month? And what are we going to do for long term? And you got to, there's different, if I ask you, how do we get more calls? And I'm expecting you to fill my schedule for tomorrow, and you're giving me an answer for how we're going to make a year from now or 6 months from now be at a higher level, you're going to be frustrated. So you got to ask, what of this marketing in this program creates the immediate activity that I can judge, and what sets the stage so that in 6 months, and again, just throwing a time frame on it, because HVAC, we can have our weather swings, right? What's setting the stage so that I'm at the next level next year, not right back starting all over again?
What in this package is demand, and what in this package for marketing is desire?
Yeah. Okay.
Right? How do I change what is going to get me when the getting's good? When I had a Texas guy hit up. He goes, "My favorite time of year. I'm busy again. Stress levels plummet." I'm like, "Yeah, I get you. Demand is up, right? But that desire spot, right? How do you react to it? And do you have tools in your arsenal to combat it?"
I'm not going to let you give them all of the answers to this question. I want to keep some of it a little bit secret. So if you want the rest of the questions that you should ask a SEO or marketing company, I'm going to need you to put something down below. What should we put?
SEO.
SEO. Type SEO questions down in the comments, and I will make sure that my team gets you the full list of questions to ask an SEO or marketing company.
Just know, for all my listeners, that's Gene's decision. I give it to you. I'm good. And this isn't an inclusive list. This list is going to be something. These are the most popular answers that I've given Gene that combat the most questions, the most popular concerns that you're going to have.
Hey, I think that just with the 3 or 4 that you shared, we're going to be light years ahead of where we would have been otherwise. I mean, I wouldn't think to ask those type of questions myself. So I think that was an awesome question from the audience and awesome answers from Mark. Everybody give Mark a big boom down in the comments. Brittany, do we have any more questions in the hopper? And if so, how many do we have? Guys, if you ever need help with your sales teams or marketing or anything like that, I'm going to give you my cell phone number right now. Okay. And all you got to do is text me. I've got your back for life. All right. My cell is 239-848-6533. I'm going to give it one more time because this podcast is going to be on Spotify and a bunch of other areas where you won't be able to see video. So again, my cell is 239-848-6533. And I want to give all of you a special invitation, all of my owners, I want to give you a special invitation into the Profit Coach Mastermind. That is a group that Don and I operate together. And there is a fee for that group, but for the first 30 days, Don and I will pay for your fee. It's about $1,250 a month to be a part of that group, but Don and I are going to pay for the first month for you to get to know you and to help you for free at first, because what we found is that when we deliver and we do help people for free, they typically hire us to help them with other stuff later. We're just going to build that trust with you and show you that we know what the hell we're talking about and that we're not BSing you, and we're going to get you results before we ask for any money. Is that fair? If you're interested in that, you want to get more information, just put Profit Coach down in the comments. Profit Coach down in the comments. And Mark, do you want to share some contact information for yourself for people if they want to reach out to you directly and set up a time for you to look at what they're doing and maybe them ask you some more questions?
Absolutely. So again, I have no problem. Email is Mark, M-A-R-K, at LeadsNearby.com. Anytime, just give me an email. More than happy to set up kind of a 25-minute to an hour conversation, just you and I going back and forth. There she is. You could also text me on my cell phone. Just know I'm not as attached to it probably as Gene is. I will do my absolute best to get back to everybody. It is 919-830-7471. And I know where the block key is too. So,
you know where the
I wanted to make sure Gene smiled and was listening. But I'm here to help. If there's anything that you guys need, please just let me know. Again, this isn't I want to be very clear. My company, we're a successful company. I do really good work. I can't do it for everybody. And I'd love to help as much as I can, free advice, whatever it is necessary. But at the end of the day, if I can make your relationship with your marketing company better, then great. That's a good marketing company to be part of. If that company is not changing based on what you've heard here today, know that I'm able to help. Just give me a call. And if the planets align, I'd love to have you.
No high pressure, guys. If you want to have conversations with any of us, just ring us up. We're here to take care of you. You're part of our community, and we love you. And we wouldn't be where we're at without all of you. Even for those of you today who have just liked this or commented on it or shared it, that support means more to us than you could ever truly imagine. So thank you all for showing up today. Any parting words, gentlemen?
Well, I was going to say, this is Mark and LeadsNearby for me was the last marketing company I ever had to hire. So, yes, I had to do those little things through the corporate that came along, but through my ownership of it just was over, and I could put my mind back to the rest of the things about the business, which really helped. So, I didn't abdicate it. I delegated it. I knew it was working. We had our conversations, but it let my mind free up so I could concentrate on sales a little bit more. And that's what
my number one takeaway, Don, is what you're talking about right now. And that is spending the time with your marketing company, like you're talking about. Like, that's the biggest takeaway for me. If you guys would budget 30 minutes to an hour every 2 weeks, you could really build something special for yourself and take some of that stress off of yourself when those shoulder seasons come. You should never be slow. You should be operating a business that is not weather dependent. And this group of guys here, more than happy to help you with that. Mark, any parting thoughts?
Never assume. Never assume your marketing company knows what's going through your mind. You know what they say about assuming, right? Makes an ass out of you. So never assume. Never assume that your marketing company knows that you've got an empty schedule tomorrow. Never assume that they're actively engaged in something in your particular area when they're located elsewhere. Never assume. Always call, verify, and you will be one happy camper.
Okay.
That's the program for the day, Ninjas. Thank you so much for joining us here with Lead Ninja, the Black Belt Sales Training Podcast, where we want to help you to make more money, work less, and get home for dinner on time. Thank you guys for joining us. Look forward to seeing you all next time.
Thank y'all. Bye.
See ya.